There's a lot that can be said about that conversation we just had with historian Carrie Lee Merritt about how this new law from the Trump administration, and this new decision rather, rule it's called, the expedited removal rule, how this affects all of us morally. But I think Carrie Lee was on to a very important insight when she tied it to the historical moment of the 1850s and to, for example, the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, for a lot of reasons, some of which we talked about in the conversation with Carrie, which is when you have something like expedited removal, suddenly, in some ways, it's morally clarifying, and moral clarification is not always a bad thing. And what I mean by that is that even though this is a brutal and vicious law, it brings home to every street in our country the reality that is our reality, but for most of us is hidden away down on the southern border of this country. And that's this, that we now are willing to distrust people and intervene and stop people based merely on their appearance, and this xenophobic fear of quote unquote aliens or quote unquote illegal immigrants. When we start doing that, we've gone down a horrendous road. When we start deciding that people have to prove their innocence rather than the state having to prove their guilt, we've gone down a horrendous road too. Now, the Fugitive Slave Act made every American a potential law enforcement officer for this brutal institution of slavery. Well, expedited removal may not go quite that far, but it means that nobody is protected, nobody is safe. If anyone on the streets can be isolated and forced to prove their right to be there, we no longer live in a free society, and we need to do something about it.